said, hi, my name is Belinda Esterhammer. I'm the co-chair of Women of Influence. I've been a nominee in the past before, also several times, and I'm well aware of the process. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining today and also learning more about that. With me, I have Joanna. Joanna, I'll let you do a quick intro yourself.
Hi, I'm Joanna Hotung. I think I recognize quite a few people here, actually. It's nice to see you. I've been involved with AmCham Women of Influence for, gosh, I don't know, 15 years or something. I was nominated 3 times for an award and I won on the 3rd time, which was a huge honor. I've also been a judge for many, many years as well, in the entrepreneur category, actually. And this year I'm really happy to be part of the whole steering committee.
All right, we're gonna jump right in then. We're gonna start with discussing all 8 categories. All right, this is our website, and we also reshare all the links in the email in case you've not seen this page before. And this is our event space. So yeah, what is Women of Influence? It started 20 years ago as a brainchild of Beverly Sun, who started this whole and kicked off this whole initiative. And fast forward now, there's a lot of different women that we acknowledged for their tremendous work, including, the work that Joanna has done. And the award really grew also with Hong Kong over the past 20 years. This year is really, really special because we're not just celebrating our 20th anniversary, but we really feel like we want to really showcase where we've come in the past and where we are in the present, and also where we're going in the future around women empowerment in Hong Kong and beyond. So over the past many years, awards also changed. There were categories that got added. There were categories that got renamed. So also if you go through like past awards and past winners, and you ever notice that, that's also more like an FYI. So we have 8 amazing categories, and Joanna will go through them in detail later. I just want to quickly, mention that we have 8. One of them is celebrating the work that amazing women under 30 are doing, which is called Young Changemaker. The other is called Leading Women Entrepreneur. So basically anybody that's a female entrepreneur above 30 is eligible to become a leading women entrepreneur. Of course, also under 30-year-olds can, but yeah, that's also a young change maker for them to choose. The Leading Women Director or Executive, Women Change Maker in STEM, Champion for Women, Leading Women in Arts, Sports and Leisure, Champion of Disadvantaged Groups and Minorities, and Best Companies Championing Women. So again, we're going to go through them in a detail later, but also just wanted to mention them now. And we will cover that also in our FAQ later, but we often hear from women that want to submit the nomination. Can you be nominated for more than one category? No, you cannot. Please choose the category that fits you the best. But also, if you're unsure which category fits you the most, get in talk with Joanna, myself, or also the AmCham team, and we help you actually to identify which category suits you best. Also, if you've previously won in a specific category and you want to submit your nomination for a different one, that's also totally possible. Just mentioning that already here, because that's a really, really common question that we get. And in terms of also, while we scroll here, submit your application and nominate someone. So if you're submitting your application, yeah, you go through the details here. And again, this is something that we will cover in a second. What I want to talk right now here is the difference between submit your application and nominate someone, and if there's any perks in nominating someone. So if you nominate somebody, this person, you fill out all the details where you want to where you want to nominate somebody, like your details, and then we can then get in touch with this person and tell them that you nominated them. to ask them then also to submit the application. But basically what we do is to share the nominee submission form with them. So meaning that they have to go through this process. We hear a lot of questions around like, is there any benefit of asking somebody to nominate you first before you submit your application? No, there's not. Judges won't see who nominated you. And we really want to empower women and everybody else to put your own foot forward and to really submit your nomination. That's also why the emphasis is really on fill it out. It does not matter who nominated you. You don't have to ask somebody in your industry or a friend to nominate you. We really want to move away from us as in like us women often feeling too insecure and having to ask somebody to nominate. So please, just like save yourself like that one step of receiving the email where it's like, please submit your nomination, because you will receive the same form. It's just like one step more that at the end of the day, nobody else will see. And that's no benefit to it. But of course, if you have amazing people in your network that you think really will benefit or need that little nudge, please nominate them. We know that a lot of people still need the nudge, or also they might, this might fly under the radar. So if you have amazing people in your mind, please nominate them. And you can also get in touch directly with us, for example, if there's a long list of people that you actually want to nominate and you don't want to fill out, for example, this form 10 times. That's also totally possible that we can totally make that happen. So also I've been talking about women a lot, but we also have one category that also acknowledges men, which is Champion for Women. So this category is open for all genders. So whether that's a woman, whether it's a man, or however they identify themselves. So this category is really for everybody that's just doing amazing work in championing women. And of course, there's also Best Company at Championing Women, where it's about the organization, those organizations that are doing amazing work. But before we go further, do we have any questions around submitting your application and nominating someone?
So I've nominated someone, and what do I email them to let them know I've nominated them?
No need. So if you nominated somebody, the AmCham team will get in touch with them and tell them that you've nominated them, and ask them then to please submit their nomination. And
it's actually one of the reasons why there's no real advantage. There's no advantage at all being nominated, because the person has to fill in their own form anyway. Right, whether you're nominated or not, you will have to fill in your own submission form. So, but obviously it's a great tool. If you have other people that you want to nominate, then it's an easy way to put them through into the system, and then AmCham will follow up. Yes. Has anyone else nominated others?
Yes. I have a question. So very often the person that got nominated are too humble to be nominated. So what would you do in that instance? Because I think we have enough information and a team around that person to make the nomination, but obviously we will need like a consent for her to be nominated. Like, how would you advise if that's the situation, Joanna?
Well, like with most things, we can only do it with their consent, right? Yes. Part of the Women of Influence brief is to really try and encourage women to step up, step out, and whether you call it humble or modest or whatever, it's also a wonderful thing to be recognized. And so, of course, we can't force people to be nominated. They have to accept the nomination. And so I guess in that situation, I would just, if you know them personally, I would try and personally persuade them to do it by telling them that it's really a recognition of, whatever it is that they've done, their hard work or their achievements, or whatever reason it is that you're nominating them for. I think in that case, you should reach out to them on a personal level and really try and encourage them. But this is exactly what Belinda was saying. This is why we've really highlighted that actually we want women to nominate themselves. We want women to apply for themselves, because we don't need to be so humble. We don't need to be, we know how hard we work. We know what we're achieving. So I guess maybe it might be partly cultural. It may be just a process that we need to go through where it takes maybe a few years for women to feel confident enough to do this. But the message is, and we'll talk in a minute about the criteria for, for completing the information in the form. But the whole point is really to showcase achievements, right? And, I think most of us actually have more achievements than we think we do. And that's one of the reasons why we're actually organizing this award ceremony. So I think, for your particular situation, I would really reach out to them personally and say, please, please complete the form. I've been a judge for many years. We really have seen so many fascinating people that come through. And, we see all kinds of people in different categories, but there are so many incredible stories, and so I'm most familiar with the entrepreneur category, for example. Entrepreneurs are so multifaceted, but we don't necessarily pick the one who made the most money or the one who's the most famous or got the best brand. Sure. We don't. It's a very holistic process. We're looking at everything to actually find someone who has done something extraordinary.
Got you. But from a process standpoint, if they're if assuming we have the consent, and then people can help that particular individual to complete the actual form, because they could be time poor or whatnot.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
I mean, you can ask your assistant. Somebody could ask their assistant to fill it in, or their friend. Of course, just make sure it's accurate.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that too. Please, tell these people that they can definitely ask their assistant or somebody in the team to actually support them or also fill in the application. And also, if that person then has questions around the process or something, they can also get in touch with us /AmCham to really answer these questions. But quite a lot of women also that are really, really busy, they actually rely on supporting team members to help them to fill it in. Okay, if we don't have any questions, Joanna, I'll hand over to you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through briefly the 8 different categories. If you don't mind scrolling down, Belinda, to the one that has all the details for each category. So when you actually go into the form, you'll see these are the details for the 8 different categories. We believe they are pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, if you don't, we would love to get feedback on this. But you'll see, for example, the definition of a young change maker is someone who's under the age of 30 by the 31st of December this year. So that's the definition of young, and can have demonstrated achievement in any field, in any area. Okay. So the other categories are, entrepreneur, I think, is self-explanatory, someone who has founded their own business. Now, this does not have to be a for-profit. It can be any kind of business or organization. So charity leaders can be here. If someone's founded their own charity or organization, they also come under this entrepreneur category. There is not a separate category for not-for-profits or NGOs, just so you're aware. Leading woman director or executive. So this is someone who's on a board of a company, listed on a stock exchange. Okay, so someone who's actually, leading woman director of a big company. Then change maker in STEM. So, people who are working in technology, engineering, etc. This is the category for them. Champion for women. As Belinda said, this is for anyone, any champion for women of any gender who has done something to, to raise women up, to support women, empower women in some way. The change maker in sports, arts and leisure. This is quite a diverse group, but would recognize people in any of these areas. So people have asked me, what does leisure mean? Well, leisure might include things like, entertainment industry, theme parks, holiday travel, this sort of thing. Yeah, I think arts and sports are clearer. Champion of disadvantaged groups and minorities. So this might lend itself to charities. but it doesn't necessarily have to be a charity, but it's someone who is demonstrating their support, their advocacy for anyone who's part of a disadvantaged group or minority. And then the best company, so this is only open to companies as a whole. So if you're representing a company or you're thinking of nominating a company, it will usually be their corporate communications or someone like, a department like that, or the director or something, that sort of department who would be in charge of completing the nomination form. I just want to emphasize that this is very much a Hong Kong award. So you do have to be someone who is resident in Hong Kong, has a track record in Hong Kong, has a business. If for example, if you're going for the Entrepreneur Award, your business should largely be based in Hong Kong and your business should be in Hong Kong. So these really are very Hong Kong based. In the past, we have had people submit amazing applications, but then when we actually read in detail, we realize that they're actually based overseas and they just come to Hong Kong sometimes. So those applications will not be successful because this is very much a Hong Kong award. People do get, people sometimes will fall into more than one category, and it's quite hard to decide which one to go for. But if you look at the details here, then, obviously go for the one that you think you are strongest. Then when you actually go into the form, so we can click on one, for example, if we just, for example, we'll click on Woman Changemaker in STEM, you actually start, when you start to fill out the form, the first page is very much about, all your standard information. So this can easily be filled out by yourself or by your assistant or whoever is, can do this for you, who knows this information. And then once this is done, we actually get into the bullet point details. And this is what I just want to talk about. So for each category, please do read the bullet points and please do answer the question. Don't sort of cut and paste your CV in thinking that that's fine. I mean, it's great. I'm sure the CVs are wonderful, but it won't be a strong application if you do that. Please have a look at the bullet points and what they're asking for, and they are quite different for each category. So that's also a way that might help you to choose. If you aren't sure about which category to choose, you can also look at these bullet points and address them. You've only got 300 words to fill in the box. So you can be brief. You don't have to, write perfect English or paragraphs. You can write bullet points yourself, but just highlight the areas that really answer the question. So if we can just go up to number 1, Belinda. So the first section, number 1, is always about your professional accomplishments in that category. So, the achievements that you have, perhaps your qualifications, any previous work experience that you've had that was impactful. For this one, it's talking about patents and advancements in STEM, for example, because this is the STEM category. So that's your professional accomplishments. Then the number 2 section is because it's women of influence. So in what way have you been influential? And, when we talk about influence, we're not talking about being loud, extrovert, aggressive influence, right? We're just, how have you been able to impact other people in your area? So for example, for this one, it's how, perhaps how have you shown your commitment to the development of STEM in Hong Kong? What kind of professional creativity have you shown? Have you been innovative? How have you inspired other people? Have you been a role model? That's that sort of thing. And then for section 3, for all of them, it's about advocacy and community involvement and responsibility. So this is really, how have you reached out into the broader Hong Kong community? What have you done to show that you're really committed to the community? It could be volunteer work, it could be charitable work, it could be supporting others, it could be other awards or recognition that you've received from other work that you've done, from community leaders, etc. So advocacy is really important because it's wonderful to be acknowledged for your own achievements, but of course we want to give back and we want to make sure that we have more impact, not just what we're doing ourselves, but also what we're actually doing beyond ourselves. So the main thing is, please look at the bullet points. You won't be able to type more than 300 words anyway, so you will be stopped. So it's always harder to write fewer words than to write more words, I have to say. So this part may seem a bit onerous. It may seem a little bit like, gosh, this is a lot of work. But can I say that this award, the AmCham Awards, are incredibly prestigious. You know, we have lots of awards now in Hong Kong. And I do feel that this one really, really is incredibly valuable. It's really well judged. Our judges are really carefully selected. They're very diverse. We have, males, females, multi-ethnicities, all sorts of judges. They are true experts in their field. I think soon we'll start announcing who the judges are.
Yes, we will announce them soon, but also we don't want people to get hung up in terms of like who is judging and make the application dependent on that, because we want to keep because somebody's question was actually like, can I see the profiles of the judges, who they are? And yes, the judges are all different across all categories and are all experts in their respective fields. Were chosen really carefully. We have over 60%, I think 70% that are non-Caucasian, and we have amazing judges. We will announce them very soon, but please don't wait to make your application dependent on that, because also when we announce them, it might be also too late for you then to submit. And we will not announce them all also at once. So yeah, judges obviously can't be nominated themselves. So that's also something worthwhile mentioning, or in case anybody is wondering.
And then the final part of the application here is you can upload up to 3 documents. So this is where, if you want to put your CV, you can. You know, if there's a great press article about you, you can put it here, etc. So you can upload them here. We want to keep the forms tight and short, because it is, it's a big job for the judges to go through them, and we want to make sure that everything is benchmarked quite equally in terms of the content and how much material the judges are expected to look at, which is why we do it like this. Yeah, and then we can talk about the judging process later. Any questions about the form?
Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Good to see you here. I have a question about the number 2 and number 3, because it might be some overlapping between like the answer number 2 and number 3, sometimes about the influence and also the advocacy. So what should be more focus for each of this to put the answers, like the statement for number 2 and number 3?
So number 2, I think of as being more about you personally and what you've done. Number 3 is more about you outward into the community. That's a sort of easy way to think about it. So if you look at this one, for example, so this is, what have you done in terms of your own decision making to show influence, for example? What have you done to support STEM development in Hong Kong? Yeah, what have you done that's creative and innovative, or in leadership, right? And then the number 3 is more about how has your advocacy reached outwards more into the community. I think that's the sort of easiest way to look at it.
Thank you. I will put focus on that different part. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for hosting this. Like Joanna said just now, there were so many awards out there, and actually so many awards actually like require to submit to pay a fee to apply or to nominate somebody. So I just want to kind of like clarify with you all.
No charges involved. You don't even need to be American. You don't need to be an American chamber member. You just need to submit. And also, if you win, like, you don't need to pay for anything. You get a ticket to the conference if you win to be able to take your award. So at no point are there charges involved. And the finalists, for the 3 finalists, including the winner, we also have some other special happenings planned, but these will happen in next year, because the award ceremony and the conference itself will happen in March. But yeah, at no point are any costs involved. And in terms of like timeline, also worthwhile mentioning now. So we're closing applications on the 1st of November. This will be the final call. We're not going to extend it again. We had to extend it because there was just so much interest and a lot of people just needed more time, which we also acknowledge, especially organizations, to go through their due diligence. So 1st of November, we're closing, and the finalists will be contacted in January. So that's basically the kind of timeline that you can keep an eye out for. And the conference itself will happen in March. We're gonna announce the exact date and everything around it in the next 2 weeks or something. It will be announced very soon. So also keep an eye out for that. And again, the 3 finalists, including the winner, will be also invited to join. And for everybody else, we also have some other goodies included.
So there are 3 finalists for each category. So the judges will review all of the submissions within their category, and they will come up with 3 finalists. Yeah, and then the winner will be announced at the award ceremony. Hi.
Thank you so much for hosting this. I got nominated and I forgot about the nomination, and then the person that nominated said to me, "You have to submit the application." And I submitted it, I think last Friday, and I don't even know or remember what I wrote, what I did. I had no idea. And I don't even know if he received it, but I don't even know if it was correct. And I'm wondering if I can resubmit it or should I leave it?
So we had this question from a few ladies that were really rushing last week to submit it. So if you were one of them, as anybody that's listening is one of them, and they want to resubmit, you get one, if it really happened last Friday, yes, you can resubmit it. So resubmit it, and then please drop an email to AmCham, the email that will send you a post webinar email later. Please drop an email then to let the team know that you are actually withdrawing your previous submission, and that you just submitted a new one, because then they can confirm firstly that they received your new submission, and secondly also that this is fine. And this is like an exception that we're making right now.
Okay. And would you recommend to resubmit it if you think one rushed it, or?
I think it's worth you going back to look at those bullet points. I mean, I don't know if you can remember what you put last time, but for me, it's the real sort of the most important thing is to answer the bullet points. So I think if you go back and look at them again for whatever category you were nominated for, and maybe, and think about did you actually address those bullet points as well as you can, I think that would be the decision maker for me. Yeah,
I think I could probably do better. It was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Quick one, Belinda, is the judging done purely by the application, or will there be an in-person interview for the judging process?
There's no in-person interview. It's done through the judges, and also like in the previous years, also the finalist/winner will also go through a due diligence check first, which is done by a third party and not by us, just to ensure.
Get your application in.
Sorry, one last question. How do I get the link for the new application? I just start again?
Start again.
Yeah, start again. Again, the link is the same. Even if you nominate somebody, it's the same link for everybody.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
No problem.
And please do nominate others. Please do not. I mean, as we were saying at the beginning, people do feel shy nominating themselves. So sometimes they just need a gentle push.
And also, if you nominated somebody and you want to actually check with us if they've actually submitted the nomination, you can also get in touch with the AmCham team, and they can just let you know if they submitted or not, because it's really, really important to really support and empower people, and often it's really that last nudge that they need to really feel that empowered to do it. And I think that also, if there's no further questions, we also have some, okay, perfect. They also dropped the email in the chat. So for anything Women of Influence related, drop an email to woi@amcham.org.hk. We also have some questions that were previously submitted by people that joined. Some of the questions not addressed yet is how to enroll if I'm working in a paid organization, if my remit is not so concentrated in Hong Kong only. So I think, as Joanna mentioned earlier, we're looking into the impact that you or your organization is making in Hong Kong. So that's something that you really should showcase, whether you're applying for on behalf of your organization, or also whether you're applying on your own, or submitting the application on your own behalf. And again, as mentioned before, also, your organization does not have to be an AmCham member. You don't have to be an AmCham member. Your organization does not have to be American. You don't need to be American. So that's also something really, really important to mention. Joanna, I think that in terms of because you filled out the application 3 times, I think I've done it twice. I think that when it comes to, filling it out, do you have, and you mentioned earlier also tips and tricks, but is there anything else also worthwhile mentioning that you think would be really great for people to know?
Actually, one thing I will say is it's worth persevering, because I won on the 3rd time. And you might, because actually the competition can be quite intense. You never know who's going to apply from year to year. And there are lots of, I know, being a judge, it's really, really hard to decide. But I do think it's worth persevering. So if you've been nominated before and you didn't win, or you weren't, you weren't a finalist, please don't lose heart. Go for it again. There's absolutely no harm to do it again. So that's one thing I would say. In terms of actually filling out the form, sometimes it does feel like a bit of hard work, and because it's a rigorous award ceremony. I think Lorraine was saying that some of these awards, you sort of pay for them and you get them. It's not like that at all. This is extremely well organized, well judged. As Belinda said, there's also due diligence at the end. We always make sure that the winner is legit through a third-party due diligence company. So this is really a prestigious award. I personally think it's very much worth spending the time to complete the form, and also the events surrounding. It's not just the award. There's a whole conference around this. There's networking. There's meeting other amazing women. And so even for that alone, I think there's huge value to this. So I think for the format, as I said, the main things are: answer the question, answer the bullet points. Yeah, that's the main thing. And it's structured this year so that, as I said, you can only write 300 words anyway, because in previous years people would write huge long essays. But now it's 300 words. So yeah, use your words wisely and really just showcase what you've done.
And again, you can also enter your LinkedIn and also additional documents anyway. So the judges actually look through these things. Yeah. So, don't worry if you have your own website, that also has everything on there. There's actually a section where you can add that. So there's no point in copy and pasting, your whole portfolio there, but it's really about getting the essence. Like applying for a job, your CV should be really short and on point. That's how you should also consider this. Also, as a goodie for everybody that actually submits the nomination or nominate somebody, we actually have a nomination mixer also coming up and next week. So that one is only for, people that submitted the nomination. So I think that if you need another nudge to do so, please do it. And also, yeah, as mentioned before, there's a lot of different happenings also that we're organizing, and it's not, winning is nice, but it's really about the community that we're building here and bringing women together to celebrate each other, learn from each other. So there's a lot of different also activities that are coming up, from like mentoring university girls to so many others where, you know, if you want to also bring yourself in, that's also totally possible. Yeah, Joanna, while we have you here, I think that also, like, in terms of like, you know, filling out the application, I think that in terms of the process, is there also anything that you can share with the ladies here?
I mean, I think give yourself enough time, think about the things that you want to say, bullet point them, make it easy to read, make sure everything is true. I don't mean, obviously nobody deliberately is lying, but if necessary, check dates and things that you may have forgotten if they were in the past. I just want to emphasize that all of the judges have signed NDAs as well. So any information that you disclose is confidential. So I think for example, in the entrepreneur category, we ask for some evidence of growth or numbers to support the, you know, your success as an entrepreneur. So some of the categories may ask for information that is obviously quite private, but it's necessary because that's truly how, you know, the award is assessed as well. So please don't be put off by questions like that. It really is important that that is included. And yeah, and I think really don't miss the deadline. You know, it's so worth it. It's so worth doing. I know we're all incredibly busy and it's easy to forget, but once you actually get involved with this, there's actually, as I said, so much more value for you as well. And I think the form this year, we've really worked at it, is pretty straightforward. Don't you think, Belinda? I think it's pretty clear. Yeah.
But also, if there's anything unclear, you can get with us, get in touch with us at any time. Also mentioning backdating to like when Joanna just mentioned about we're asking for, you know, your revenue, for example, if you apply for the entrepreneur category, we're not asking for your bank details or like bank statements. We're just asking for you to input numbers. So also, you know, it's not about us or anybody seeing whole like bank statements or anything. It's like we're trusting you, you know, that you input the correct numbers, but also in case you're winning, there's going to be a due diligence process where you're not involved, but it's just the company doing a background check on the winners. Yeah. And this has been happening for many years now, just to also really guarantee the integrity of the awards, because again, as mentioned before, it's not a paid award, but it's actually a really prestigious award here. Are there any other questions?
Thank you for arranging this, Joanna and Belinda. I just have a question on the point that you were making that I've been nominated, so I just want to learn a bit more. Like, for example, a lot of, you know, a lot of us, we also have programs in China for the disadvantaged or even the minorities. So would that be not, would you say we don't put that in, or do we put that in? What's your advice?
Definitely put it in, but also make the connection to Hong Kong. So for example, if you if you work for an organization that's based in Hong Kong but is doing work in China, that's great, because that's the connection to Hong Kong.
I see.
Or if you have a, you know, the headquarters is in Hong Kong, but you also have offices outside Hong Kong, wherever they may be, of course, mention that as well. But just make sure that there is a link to Hong Kong.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking. If there's no other questions, somebody.
Oh,
Jen, yes.
Sorry. I think it's more of a confirmation, just what both of your advice. I think animal welfare, probably we were planning to fit that into the minority category in terms of awards. So just to confirm, you guys are happy for us to do that, because obviously they don't have a voice and they're definitely a minority. So
I think that's so cute. That's so cute.
Oh, thank you. So you mean the CEO will be nominated as champion in minorities, or
it's another candidate? But yes, a couple of women that have, yes, that people have contributed in animal welfare.
That's great.
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yeah, and as Belinda said earlier, once you're nominated, you'll be invited to the mixer that's coming up soon as well, so you can actually meet with meet each other, meet some of the judges, etc.
Especially for those who are really interested who the judges are. Fill it out this weekend. Fill it out. Oh, Sungmei, do you have another question?
Yes, because this is the follow-up of what you were talking about. You're asking RSPCA, is your ED applying for it? I mean, I'm kind of like in the on both sides. In a way, a lot of the programs or services were pioneered by me, but yet, of course, it is now run by people in the organization, if you see what I mean. So what's your advice? You know, do somebody like me who's like on both sides, being a frontline and then eventually, of course, handing it down to other people to continue, would that be like a personnel or agency, would you say?
So you can have any role. You can have any role in the organization that you work for. If you're being nominated as an individual, you can.
Yes, I've been nominated as an individual.
You know, in the past, for example, we have had social workers be nominated, you know, working on behalf of disadvantaged people, for example. You definitely don't have to be the head, or, you know, so if you're being nominated, you're being nominated for yourself and what you personally have done. So yeah, that's in the minority.
That's in the minority category. Whereas if you would be, if you want to submit in the women entrepreneur, yes, you have to be the founder. That's also on the business registration. But as Joanna said, in the minority category, we also had social workers that are doing amazing work here in Hong Kong and that actually submitted their nomination also. So Sungmei, you can do it, but also you can also ask, nominate anybody also further from your team to submit it. You will all be considered for it. You know,
it's not about frontline or who's at the top or who's in the middle, or it's not related to that. It's really related to the individual. So if you have a story to tell of your own, and it sounds like you do, if you have a story to tell and you have had influence, you know, in your particular area, and that you've had an impact on the community, then go for it. Yeah.
And adding on that is also, it's not just about your day job, but also things that you contribute to the community outside. So for example, if you also, you know, do amazing work, you don't have to, basically what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to be a frontline worker or, you know, doing things for the greater good of Hong Kong as a day job, but it could even be something that you're doing outside of your job, for example, on weekends, but you're still contributing and still supporting. So it's a really like big category in terms of like who can fit in there. At the end of the day, it's really about the impact that you're making, whether that's in your, you know, professional or also private life.
But okay, I get a gist of it. And if I do want to have like, you know, more clarity, I can just ask. Yeah.
Yeah. Please email that email woi@amcham.org.hk.
Yeah, we've done that before. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, no worries. And again, as also mentioned before, if you're too busy and you want somebody else to fill it in, like your EA or some other team member, also fine. And if they then have questions, also WOI, that email is then also the go-to.
Okay.
I think
thank you.
Thank you so much. We're gonna close it now. Everybody will, for further questions, please reach out to us at the WOI email, or you can also message us. But we're gonna close it now. Thank you everybody so much for being so engaging, interested in it. Please fill it out before next Tuesday, and you're gonna be invited to a really great mixer where you can meet and mingle meet and mingle. And with that being said, thank you also so much, Joanna, for sharing more about your experience.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye. See you. Thank you.